Well, hello everyone. This is Rose from the Perfect Rose, Rose Ann Kulyk, and I've had this assignment for quite some time, and I never really followed through with it. So today's the day. It's happening today. First of all, I want to share that I do consider myself like a volunteer soul, that I've known that ever since I was young. Second of all, I started with the tarot when I was in my teens, 14, 15 years old, and when I was in college and things like that, I had a tendency to pick to go to see psychics instead of maybe going to a counselor or therapist. And I think the main reason for that was I always had first of all, I could get into them a little bit more spontaneously, but I could also talk about a lot of this stuff that at that time on the planet, if I would have went into a traditional therapist, they would have thought I was a little bit loopy, right? I mean, there's still some of them think that, but not as much as it used to be. And I don't know about you, but I know from fact myself, in a lot of cases, some of those readings when I was younger, they were okay, but they didn't necessarily always come true. And it just felt like there was always something that missing. It felt like there was something missing. And I remember some of them saying to me, their real job was to open us up to the possibility, but this other aspect of ourselves that we can't necessarily see exists. So just want you to think about that for a moment. It was just, and they said, and one of the other things they had said to me, it's really difficult for them to read for me because at that time I haven't really made a decision. I hadn't really made a decision on what I had wanted to do because I was on a certain trajectory through a sequence of events. I went somewhere else and then kind of was not necessarily making a decision after that, right? So when I looked at, I really have always been interested in my spirituality, no matter what. It was just a big piece of my journey, and even my birth path is a 7, which, you know, telling. It's pretty telling, right? So, if anyone who knows numerology, and I really thought about it, what would I want to do? And I noticed some of the information I was really drawn to seemed to have been channeled information, or some of the stuff that I found interesting was that. But I also was a very diligent student. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to be, because some of the ones I saw were unconscious channels, which means like part of them would leave and then another part would, like a higher being would come and talk through. And some of them would be for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. And I was like, oh my God, like I love learning, but I'm not sure if I'm necessarily willing to leave for 2, 3, or 4 hours and then have to come back and study everything that I just taught because I just wasn't there. So I made a decision that I wanted to be a conscious channel. That was my decision. And as I've looked back these past few years now, I realize what happened after that. I made a decision, I'm going to repeat that, to be a conscious channel. And, and boy, oh boy, did that decision send me on a trajectory. I ended up, I ended up changing my occupation. I started learning how to manifest. I started doing affirmations. And I thought it was pretty good. I thought I was really rationalizing things well, saying what grasp I had on everything. And then the stuff started coming out of me like that I just didn't know what to do with. Feelings, whatever. I lost some weight too, which would bring up feelings, and all this stuff just wanted to ooze and pour out of me. And then I ended up, as I look back, I realized, oh my gosh, I was clearing that because I asked to be a conscious channel. So I was clearing anything that would prevent me from having that connection. And at the time, I was a cocktail server at a casino. And to be honest with you, um, it was bringing up a lot of painful stuff. And it was kind of tough sometimes to go to work because of the fact that I made tips like you have to be happy. Like you can't go to work and be cranky and throw drinks at people and expect to make a living. You just can't. Like, it's utterly impossible, right? So I I ended up like I was like sometimes I didn't want to be nice to people. Sometimes I didn't want to ask them, whatever. And I started asking. So that's when I made a decision. I had fallen in love with Jesus through a couple books that I'd read. I'd always loved and respected him in some way, shape, or form. I was raised Roman Catholic, so I always had a love for Jesus. But I always felt that he didn't want to be worshipped. There was a part of me that really felt that he was trying to teach that whatever he was teaching was what we were all capable of. So I started to ask him. He was the first being I channeled. So the assignment was he wanted me to let people know that even though I would use the word psychic and all that stuff, and even though that some people might perceive what I do and not in accordance to what their perception of God would accept, that he was the first being that I gave permission to enter me. I actually gave him permission as a spirit to enter me so that I could learn how to be more like him. So I finally doing my assignment, and he said, I want you to tell people that I was the first being that you gave permission when you wanted to become a conscious channel. So I just wanted you to know that. My business is called The Perfect Rose, www.theperfectrose.ca. And I did what you said for me to do, and I love you so much. He's one of the many beings that I've worked with, but he's absolutely not the only one that I work with. I have a legion of beings that I've been working with for many years, not just with four, actually. I actually feel in my heart I don't work with them. I work for them as a conscious channel. They disseminate out information to assist me in assisting each one of you to move forward in the direction that is beneficial for you through the wisdom of their counsel and your higher self. I have your higher self supervise any work that I do because it knows everything. It has access to the energy that creates worlds. And so does each and every one of us when we live more as our higher self in form here on earth. So I look forward to serving some of you when the time is right, or opening your mind to the possibility of what you're capable of becoming here on earth. Because it's pretty cool. And the more of us that are around that can understand this, the more enjoyable it'll be for everybody. And we'll be able to use our light to create a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful time here on earth, because as we become more connected and more integrous and within our connection, we will be able to I've created some pretty amazing stuff in my life, in the lives of others, in the life of the animals, in the life of some of my loved ones, in the life of some of my clients, and all through universal frequencies and with a strong connection with these beautiful beings of light, and being my high self more informed. And that is my wish for each one of you, because that is what you are capable of becoming. Your higher self more informed here on earth. And while you're doing that, you are going to be your authentic self, because that is who you are. You're a divine being, powerful, divine being. So listen, lots of love to you. And I'm so glad I had the courage to tell you. And we'll talk to you the next one. www.theperfectrose.ca or rose@theperfectrose.ca. Bye for now.